Welcome to Regional News. Coming out of Jamaica, the United States Coast Guard has denied that the 5 Jamaican fishermen who were held in 2017 and detained on the high seas for 32 days were subjected to inhumane treatment. The American Civil Liberties Union recently filed a lawsuit on behalf of the men, Robert Weir, Patrick Ferguson, Luther Patterson, David Williams, and George Thompson, who they said were captured by the U.S. Coast Guard, stripped naked, made to lie in feces, and chained by their ankles to metal cables. The U.S. Coast Guard said that the mid-September 2017 episode started as it interdicted a go-fast vessel, Josette, in Haitian waters, which had allegedly been laden with marijuana. The Coast Guard said it detained the 5 crew members aboard Coast Guard cutter Confidence pending the Jamaican government's response to a request to prosecute the men. The government would eventually grant the request to waive jurisdictional rights to the men, which the Coast Guard said paved the way for the men to be transported to the United States for prosecution. The Coast Guard said they were unable to transfer the detainees ashore in Puerto Rico, given the conditions there following Hurricane Maria and for the safety of the detainees. According to the Coast Guard, they treat each person with dignity and respect while ensuring the safety of their crew, safety of the detainees, and the integrity of ongoing law enforcement operations. They maintain that the suspects detained on the Coast Guard vessels had regular access to medical treatment, personal hygiene products, toilet and shower facilities, adequate shelter from the elements, and regular meals. We now turn to Trinidad and Tobago. More than 50 assassins are walking around Trinidad and Tobago. Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith says that the intelligence agencies have received that there are over 50 shooters linked to various gangs, with most being active in taking out hits on opposing gang members. And this has proven to be the root cause of a significant number of homicides in the country via gang activities, he said. These individuals walk around with their firearms, knowing quite well if held, it is usually a simple case of going to court the next day, acquiring bail, and being issued with another firearm to carry out their trade, which involves killing persons in cold blood, says Griffith. In a statement yesterday, Griffith said the bail amendment was a critical tool to providing both a strong deterrent as well as ensuring that if and when such criminal elements are held, they can remain where they belong. In the last decade, over 75% of homicides were carried out by persons with illegal firearms in the country, and most by a select few, Griffith said. Presently, anyone who is apprehended with a firearm could be released on bail and be free to possibly assassinate the same person who was the informant that caused their initial arrest. Griffith said that someone who has been arrested for the possession of an illegal firearm must not be granted bail. He said this approach takes the guns away from criminals and gets potential cold-blooded murderers off the streets. He said those who speak about constitutional rights being infringed should also be aware of the right to life, which is, in fact, the ultimate constitutional rights of all citizens. He said amendments to this bill would ensure that a criminal is incarcerated for 120 days, allowing victims to come forward with the knowledge and the sense of safety and protection that the perpetrator is behind bars, which can also reduce the opportunity for reprisal. And finally, in Trinidad and Tobago, opposition leader Kamala Persad-Becesar has warned of Venezuelans being used by the People's National Movement (PNM) government to steal the elections. She was speaking at the United National Congress UNC public meeting at Aranguez North Secondary School on Monday night. What they have done in those regulations is to give the minister the power to first give with a stroke of a pen. He can give what is known as a residency status to Venezuelans, she said. What he does, that they can then vote in local government elections, she said. Persad-Becesar said the minister will also have the power to grant citizenship status. When you become a citizen, you can vote in general election. I am putting the people of Trinidad and Tobago on notice that this wicked, devious PNM government, that is their plan to steal elections whenever they are called, said Persad-Becesar. She noted that the UNC lost some marginal seats by just a few hundred votes in the last elections. And that is all for tonight's regional news. Reporting for HGP Nightly News, I am Amel Griffith.